Say, my loving courteous, home-keeping youth that have ever homely wits, were it not affection chains late in the days to the sweet glance of thy honey love. I rather would entreat thy company to see the wonders of the world abroad, than living dull with sluggard eyes at home, where out thy youth with shapeless idleness, since thou lovest love still, and thrive therein, even as I would when I too long begin.
Wilt thou be gone? Sweet Valentine, adieu. Think on thy years when thou haply seest some rare, noteworthy object in thy travel. Wish me partaker in thy happiness when thou dost meet good hap, and in thy danger commend thy grievance to my holy prayers, for I will be thy meat.
And on the love book, pray for my success.
Upon some book I love, I'll pray for thee.
That song from Shelley's story of deep love, how young Leander crossed the Hellespont.
That, a deep story of a deeper love, for he was more than over shoes in love.
'Tis true, for you're over boots in love, and
No.
yet he never swam the Hellespont.
No, the boots, nay, give me not the boots.
No, I will not, for it boots thee not.
What?
To be in love where scorn is bought with groans, coy looks with heart-sore sighs, one fading moment's mirth, with 20 watchful weary, tedious nights. If haply won, perhaps a hapless gain. If lost, why then a grievous labour won. However, but a folly bought with wit, or else a wit by folly vanquished.
Ah, so by your circumstance you call me fool.
So by your circumstance, I fear you'll prove.
Tis love you have at, I am not love.
Love is your master, for he masters you, and he that is yoked by a fool, methinks should not be chronicled for wine.
Yes, right to say, as in the sweetest bud the eating canker dwells, so eating love inhabits in the finest wits of all.
And writers say, as the most forward bud is eaten by the canker herb below, even so by love the young and tender wit is turned to folly, blasting in the bud, losing his verdure, even in the prime, and all the fair effects of future hopes. But wherefore waste thy time to counsel thee? Thou art a votary of fond desire. Once more adieu, my father of the road expects my coming, there to be see me ship.
And thither will I bring thee, Valentine.
Sweet courteous, no. Now let us take our leave. To Milan, let me hear from thee by letter. Of thy success in love and what new else. Betided fear and absence of thy friend, and I likewise will visit thee with mine.
All happiness perchance to thee in Milan.
As much to yours home, and so, farewell.
He after honour hunts, I after love. He leaves his friends, to dignify them more. I leave myself, my friends, and all for love. Thou, Julia, hast metamorphosed me, made me to neglect my studies, lose my time, walk with good counsel, set the world at naught, make wit with musing weak. Heart sick with thought.
Sir Proteus. Thank you. Saw you, my master.
Yeah, but now he parted hence to embark for Milan.
20 to 1, and he's shipped already, and I have played the sheep in losing him.
No, indeed, a sheep doth very often stray, and if the shepherd be a while away.
You conclude that my master is a shepherd, then, and I a sheep?
I do.
Why then, my horns are his horns, whether I wake or sleep.
A silly answer. And well fitting a sheep.
This proves me still a sheep.
True. And thy master a shepherd.
Nay, that I can deny by a circumstance.
Ah, she'll go hard, but I'll prove it by another.
The shepherd seeks the sheep,
Uh-huh.
and not the sheep the shepherd. But I seek my master, and my master seeks not me. Therefore, I am no sheep.
No. The sheep follow the shepherd. The shepherd for food follows not the sheep. Thou for wages followest thy master. Thy master for wages follows not thee. Therefore, thou art the sheep.
Such another proof will make me cry, bah.
Dost thou hear? Gavest thou my letters, Julia?
Aye, sir.
Yeah, but what shepherd said she?
Aye.
No. Aye. Why, that's naughty.
You mistook, sir. See, she did not, and you ask me if she did not, and I say, aye.
And that, set together, is not it?
Now that you've taken pains to set it together, take it for your pains.
No, you shall have it for bearing the letter.
Why, I perceive I must be fain to bear with you.
Why, sir? How do you bear with me?
Marry, sir, the letter, very orderly, having nothing but the word naughty for my pains.
Beshrew me, but you have a quick wit.
And yet it cannot overtake your slow purse.
Oh, come, open the matter and read. What said she?
Open your purse, that the money and the matter may be at once delivered.
Well, sir, here is for your pains. What said she?
Truly, sir, I think it's hardly enough.
Why? Did thou receive so much from her?
Sir, I could receive nothing at all from her. No, not so much as a ducat for delivering your letter. And being so hard to me that brought your mind, I fear she'll prove as hard to you in telling your mind. Give her no token, sir, but stones, for she's as hard as steel.
What said she? Nothing.
No, not so much as take this for thy pains. To testify your bounty, I thank you. You have discerned me. In requital whereof henceforth carry your letters yourself, and so shall I commend you to my master.
Oh, go on. Save your ship, which cannot perish, having thee aboard, which being destined to a drier death on shore. I must go send some better messenger. I fear my Julia would not deign my lines, receiving them from such a worthless post.
But say the setter, now we are alone, wouldst thou then counsel me to fall in love?
I had. So you stumbled not easily.
Of all the fair and sort of gentlemen that every day with parley encounter me, in thy opinion, which is the worthiest of love?
Please do repeat their names. I'll show my mind according to my sickly shallow skill.
What thinkst thou, Sir Economist?
As of a knight, well spoken, neat and fine, but were I you never should be mine.
What thinkst thou, the rich compassion?
Well of his wealth, but of himself, so.
What thinkst thou, gentle Proteus?
Lord, to see what falling rains is.
How now? What passionate his name?
Pardon, madam, 'tis a passing shame that I, unworthy body as I am, should censure thus on the lovely gentleman.
Why not on Proteus as of all the rest?
Then thus of many good I think him best.
Your reason?
I have no other reason but a woman's reason. I think it so because I think it so.
And thou had me cast my love on him.
Aye, if these thought your love not pass away.
Why, he of all the rest hath never moved me.
Yet he of all the rest I think best not.
His little speaking shows his love but small.
Fire that's closest kept burns most of all.
They do not love that do not show their love.
Oh, they love least that let them know their love.
He will show me his mind.
Who is taking
To Julia. Say from whom?
That the contents will show.
Say, who gave it thee?
So Valentine's page and sent, I think, from Precious. He would have given it you, but I, being in the way, did in your name receive it. Pardon the thought I pray.
Now, by my modesty, a goodly broken, dare you presume to harbour wanton lies, to whisper and conspire against my youth? Now trust, 'tis an office of great worth. And you, an officer fit for the place. Here, take the paper, see if be returned, or else return to my sight no more.
Leave love deserts will feed and hate.
Will you be gone?
That you may ruminate.
And yet I wish I had overlooked the letter. It were a shame to call her back again, and pray her for a fault for which I chide her. Fie, how wayward is this foolish love, that like a testy babe will scratch the nurse, and presently all humble kiss the rod. How churlishly I should have sent her hence, and willingly I would have had her here. How angrily I thought my brow to frown, when inward joy forced my heart to smile. My penance is to call Lucetta back, and ask permission for my fallen past. What ho, Lucetta?
What would your ladyship?
Is it near dinner time?
I would prefer that you might rule your stomach on your meat, and not upon your name.
gingerly.
Nothing.
And why dost thou stoop then?
To take the paper up that I left here.
And that piece of paper is nothing.
Nothing concerns me.
Then let it lie for those it concerns.
Madam, it will not lie where it concerns, unless I have a false interpreter.
Some love of yours had written you in rhyme.
Then I might sing it. Madam, won't you give me a minute? Your ladyship.
As little by such toys may be possible, but sing it to lighter love.
It is too heavy for so much a tune.
Happy. Be like it hath some burden then.
I am melodious for it, and use it.
And why not you?
I do not reach so high.
Let me see your song. How now, minion? This babble shall henceforth trouble me more. Here is a coil without protestation. Get ye gone and let the papers lie. You would be fingering them to anger me.
She believed that it is to be so angered with another letter.
Nay, would I so angered with the same? Oh, hateful hands which have such loving words. I'll kiss each paper, each sample paper for amends. Look, here is writ, kind Julia, or kind Julia. I throw my name against the bruising stone, traveling contemptuously without a neck to stay. And here is writ, love wounded Proteus. Good name, my bosom as a bed shall lodge thee, till thy wound be thoroughly healed. And thus I send to the sorry kiss. The price of price of Proteus written down. Be calm, with blow not a word away, till I have found each and every letter in the letter, except mine own name, that some worldling bear unto a ragged, fearful rock, and throw thee hence into the raging sea. No. Here is one line. Here in one line is his name of Christ writ. Poor fallen Proteus. Passionate Proteus to sweet Julia. That I'll tear away. Yet I will not. Since it so prettily he couples it to his name. And thus I will call them one and to another. Now kiss, embrace, contend, do what you will.
Madam, what says?
Well, let us go.
What? Shall this paper lie like telltales here?
If you respect them, best to pick them up.
Nay, I was taken up and laid them down. Yet here they shall not lie. Too cold.
I think you have a month's mind to them.
I madam, and you may. I madam, and you may say what sight you see. I see this too. Although you judge, I think.
Come, with these you go.
Tell me, Pantino, what sad talk was that wherewith my brother held you in the cloister?
'Twas a mistake, Proteus, your son.
Why, what of him?
He wanted that your lordship would suffer him to sit into the arms while othering of meditation before his sons to seek the golden town. Some to the wars to try their fortune here, some to discover islands far away, some to the students' universities. For anything or for all these exercises, he said that Proteus, your son, was meet, and did request me to importune you to visit this time no more at home.
I have considered well his loss of time, and how he cannot be a perfect man, not being tried and tutored in the world. Experience is by industry achieved and perfected by the swift course of time. Then tell me, whither were I best to send him?
I think your lordship is not ignorant how his companion, youthful Valentine, attends the emperor in his royal court.
I know it well.
To a good, I think your lordship sent him thither. There shall he practice tilts and tournaments, hear sweet discourse, converse with noblemen, and be an eye of every exercise worthy his youth and nobleness of birth.
I like thy counsel. Even with the speediest expedition, I will dispatch him to the emperor's court. Oh, and in good time. Now will we break with him.
Ah, sweet love, sweet wine, sweet life. Here's her hand, the agent of our fathers. Here is her oath for love that honors born. Oh, our fathers would applaud our loves to seal our happiness with their consent. Oh.
And now? What letter are you reading there?
May it please your lordship, 'tis a word or two of commendation sent from Valentine,
Oh.
delivered by a friend of England.
Let me the letter, let me see what you
There is no news, my lord. But that he writes how happily he lives, how well beloved and daily graced by the emperor, wishing me with him, partner of his fortune.
And how stand you affected to his wish?
As one relying on your lordship's will, and not depending on his friendly wish.
Well, there's something sorted with his wish. I am resolved that thou shalt spend some time with Valentinus in the Emperor's court. Tomorrow, be in readiness to go. Excuse it not, for I am peremptory.
My lord, I cannot be so soon provided. Please you, deliberate a day or two.
Look, what thou wants shall be sent after thee. No more of stay. Tomorrow thou must go. Come on, Pantino. You shall be employed to hasten on his expedition.
Thus have I shunned the fire for fear of burning, and drenched me in the sea where I am drowned. I feared to show my father Julius' letter, lest he take exception to my love, and with the advantage of mine own excuse, has he accepted most against my love.
So Proteus, your father calls for you. He is in haste, therefore I pray you go.
Why, this it is. My heart accords thereto, and yet 1,000 times it says no.
Sir, your gloves.
Not mine, my gloves are on.
Maybe yours, this is the one.
Let me see. I give that to me, it's mine. Sweet ornament that decks the thing divine. Sylvia! Sylvia!
Madam Sylvia! Madam Sylvia!
Come, Casterol.
She's not within hearing, sir.
Why, who made you call her?
Your worship, sir. Or else I mistook.
But will you still be too forward?
Yes, I was last chidden for being too slow.
Go to, tell me. Do you know Madam Sylvia?
She that your worship loves?
Why, how know you that I am in love?
Why, married by these special marks. First you learn, like Sir Proteus, to wreathe your arms like a malcontent, to sigh like a schoolboy that had lost his ABC, to weep like a young wench that had buried her granddad, to watch like one that fears robbing. You it won't when you laugh, to crow like a cock, when you walked to walk like one of the lions, and now you are metamorphosed, with a mistress that when I look on you I can hardly think you my master.
Are all these things perceived in me?
They are perceived without you.
Without me, they cannot.
Without you, nay, that's certain. For without you were so simple, none else would. But you are so without these follies, that these follies are within you, and shine through you like water in a urine. If not I, the sees you is but a physician's common formality.
But tell me, dost thou know Lady Sylvia?
Did you gaze on as she sits at supper?
Hast thou observed that? Even she out here.
Why, sir, I know her not.
Do thou know her by my gazing on her, and yet knowest her not?
Is she not hard-favoured, sir?
Not so fair as well-favoured.
Sir, I know that well enough.
What dost thou know?
That she is not so fair as the you well-favoured.
I mean that her beauty is exquisite, but her favour infinite.
Ah, it's because one is painted, and the other out of all counts.
How esteemest thou me? I count for her beauty.
You never saw her since she was formed.
How long has she been deformed?
Ever since you loved her.
I've loved her ever since I saw her, and still I see her beautiful.
Ah, if you love her, you cannot see her.
Why?
Ah, because love is blind. Oh, that you had my eyes, or your own eyes, and the lights that they wont to have when you chided Sir Proteus for going ungartered.
What should I see then?
Your own present folly, and her passing deformity. For he, being in love, could not see to garter his hose, and you, being in love, cannot see to put on your hose.
Realised that you were in love that last morning you did not cease to wipe my shoes.
True, sir, I was in love with my dead.
I stand affected by it.
Why would you obsess, so your affection would cease?
Last night she enjoyed me to write some lines on songs.
And have you?
I have.
Are they not lamely writ?
No, but as well as I can do them. Peace, here she comes.
Oh, excellent motion! Oh, exceeding puppet! Now will he interpret to her?
Madam and mistress, 1,000 tomorrows.
Give good ye even. He's a million of manners.
Sir Valentine and servant, to you 2,000.
He should give her interest, and she give it him.
As you enjoy me, I switch your letter out, and to the secret nameless friend of yours, which I must unwilling to proceed in, but my duty is your lady.
I thank you, gentle servant. 'Tis very cleverly done.
Now trust me, madam, it came hardly off, for being ignorant of whom it goes. I read his Brandon very doubtfully.
Perchance you think too much of so much pains.
No, madam. So instinctively you I will write, please you command, 1,000 times as much, and yet
A pretty period. Well, I guess the sequel, and yet will not name it, and yet I cannot, and yet take this again. And yet I thank you, meaning henceforth to trouble you no more.
what means your ladyship? Do you not like it?
Yes, yes, the lines are very quaintly writ, but since unwillingly, take them again. Nay, take them.
Madam, I agree.
Aye, you writ them, sir, at my request, but I will none of them. They are for you. I would have them written more movingly.
Please you, I'll write your ladyship another.
And when it's read, for my sake, read it over. And if it please you, so. If not, why so?
But please me, madam, what then?
Why, if it please you, take it for your labour. And so good morrow, sir.
Oh, jest unseen! Inscrutable, invisible as a nose on a man's face, or a weathercock on a steeple. My master sues to her. She hath taught her suitor, he being her pupil, to become her tutor. Oh, excellent device! Was there ever heard a better, that my master, being scribe to himself, should write the letter?
How now? What are you reasoning with yourself?
Nay, I was rhyming. To
To do what?
to be a spokesman for Madame Sylvia.
To whom?
To yourself. Why, she woos you by a figure.
What figure?
By a letter, I should say.
Why, she has not written to me.
What needs she, when she hath made you write to yourself? Why, do you not perceive the jest?
No, believe me.
No, believing you indeed, sir. Did you perceive her earnest?
She gave me none except an angry word.
Why, she hath given you a letter.
That's the letter I wrote her friend.
And that letter, as she delivered, and there an end.
I would be no worse.
I'll warrant you, 'tis as well. For often have you writ to her, and she, in modesty, or less for want of idle time, could not again reply. Herself had taught her love for himself to write unto her lover. All this I speak in print, for in print I found it. Why muse you, sir? 'Tis dinner time.
I have dined.
Hearken, sir, though the chameleon love can feed on the air, I am one that am nourished by my visions, and would fain have needs. Oh, be not like your mistress, be moved. Be moved.
Have patience, gentle Julia.
Headmaster, where there is no remedy.
When possibly I can, I will return.
If you return not, you will return sooner. Keep this remembrance for that Julia's sake.
I will make an exchange. Here, take this.
And seal thy bag in the holy kiss.
Here's my hand, for my true constancy. When that hour overslips me in the day wherein I sigh not Julia goodbye saying, the next ensuing hour, some foul mischance torment me for my lost forgetfulness. My father's days are coming, and not, the tide is now, nay, not the tide of tears, that tide will stay longer than I should. Julia,
Sempronius, you stay for?
go! I come. Alas, this parting strikes poor lovers dumb.
Nay, till this be the hour ere I have done weeping. All the kinds of glances have this very thought. I have received my proportion like the prodigious son, and I am going with Sir Proteus to the imperials of court. I think Crab, my dog, be the soundest-natured dog that lives. My mother, weeping, my father, wailing, my sister crying, our maid howling, our cat wringing her hands, and all the house in great perplexity. Yet, did not this cruel-hearted cur shed one tear? Here's a stone, very heavy stone. He has no more pity in him than a dog. Why my grandmother, having no eyes, look you, wept herself blind at my party. Nay, I'll show you the manner of it. This shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my mother. No, that cannot be my mother. Yes, it is so. It hath the horn of song. This shoe with the hole in it is my mother. This is my father. Now, sir, this scarf is my sister, both look you. She is white as a lily, and small as a pond. This hat is Nan, our maid. I am the dog. No, the dog is himself, and I am the dog. Oh, the dog is me, and I am myself. So. Now, come on to my father. Now, should not the shoe speak a word for weeping? Now, should I kiss my father? Well, he weeps. I come to my mother. Well, I kiss her. That is my mother's breath, up and down. Now come I to my sister, mark the moan she makes. Now, the dog all this while sheds not a tear, nor speaks a word. And see how I lay the dust with my tears. Mounts, away, aboard, thy master is shipped, and thou art to post out of the doors. What's the matter? Why do you spell there? Away, aunt, we'll lose the tide we carry any longer. It is no matter if the tide be lost, for it is the unkindest tide that ever any man tied. What's the unkindest tide? Why, he that's tied here, Crab, my dog. Tut, man. I mean, thou lose the flood, and in losing the flood, lose thy voyage, and in losing thy voyage, lose thy master, and in losing thy master, lose thy service, and in losing thy service, why dost thou stop my mouth? For fear thou shouldst lose thy tongue. Should I lose my tongue? In thy tail. In thy tail, lose the tide, and the voyage, and the master, and the service, and the tide. Why, man, if the river were dry, I am able to fill it with my tears. With the wind coming down, I tried to float with my sighs. Come away, man. I was sent to call thee. Sir, call me what thou darest. Wilt thou go? Well, I will go. Servant.
Mistress?
Master, Sir Thurio frowns on you.
Hi, it's fellow.
Not of you.
Of my mistress, sir.
Could you not do?
Servant, a servant.
Indeed, madam, I think so.
See you that you are not,
Happy I do.
so the counterfeits.
So do you.
See my that I am not. What is this to the contrary?
Your folly.
And how quote you my folly?
I quoted in your jerkin.
My jerkin is a doublet.
Well, then I'll double your folly.
How? Look, angry, Sir Thurio, do you change colour?
Give him leave, madam. He is a kind of chameleon.
That hath more mind to feed on your blood than live in your air.
You have, sir?
I, sir, am done too for this time.
I know it well. You always end begin.
A fine volley of words, gentlemen, and quickly shut off.
'Tis indeed, madam, we thank the giver.
Who is that servant?
Your service lady, for you gave the fire. Sir Thurio borrows his wit from your ladyship's look and spends what he borrows kindly in your company.
Sir, if you spin word for word with me, I shall make your wit
no other treasures to give your followers, for it appears by their bare libraries that you live by your bare word.
No more, gentlemen, no more. Here comes my father.
Now, daughter Sylvia, you are hard to set. Sir Baron, your father is in good health. What say you to a letter from your friends of much good news?
My lord, I will be thankful to any happy messenger from thence.
Know you Don Antonio, your countryman?
Aye, my good lord, I know the gentleman.
Nothing not a son.
Aye, my good lord, a son that well deserves the honour and regard of such a father.
You know him well.
I know him myself. For from our infancy we have conversed and spent our hours together. And though myself have been an idle truant, omitting the sweet benefit of time to clothe mine age with angel-like perfection, yet hath Sir Proteus, for that is his name, made use and fair advantage of his days. His years but young, but his experience old. His head unmellowed, but his judgment right. And in a word, he is complete in feature and in mind, with all good grace, to grace a gentleman.
Surely, sir, but if he make this good, he is as worthy for an empress' love as meet to be an emperor's counsellor. Well, sir, this gentleman is come to me with commendation from great potentates, and here he means to spend his time a while. I think 'tis no unwelcome news to you.
Should I have wished to think it had been he?
Welcome him then according to his worth. I'll send him hither to you presently.
This was the gentleman I told your ladyship had come along with me, but that his mistress did hold his eyes locked and that he stood.
Belike that now she has to franchise them upon some other form for fealty.
Nay, sure, I think she holds them prisoners still.
Nay then, he should be blind, and being blind, how could he seek his way to seek you out?
Why, lady, love hath 20 pair of eyes.
They say that love hath not an idol.
To see such wondrous story as yourself, when only love, okay? Love can weep.
Now done, now done. Oh, here comes the gentleman.
Hey!
Welcome, dear Proteus. Mistress, I beseech you, confirm this welcome with some special favour.
His worth is warrant for his welcome hither. If this be he you often wish to hear from.
Mistress it is, sweet lady, entertain him to be my fellow servant to your ladyship.
To low mistress for so high a servant.
Not so, sweet lady. But to mean servants have a look of such a worthy mistress.
Leave off discourse of this ability, sweet lady. Entertain him for your servant.
My duty will I boast of, nothing else.
And duty never yet did want his meed. Servant, you are welcome to a worthless mistress.
Die on him that says so.
That,
But yourself,
that you are welcome.
that you are worth.
Madam, your father would like to speak with you.
Come, Cytherea, go with me. Once more, you servant. Welcome. I'll leave you to confer of home affairs. When you have done, we look to hear from you.
We'll both attend upon your ladyship.
Now tell me, how do all from whence you came?
Ah, your friends are well and have them much commended.
And how do yours?
I left them all in health.
And how thrives your love?
My tales of love will want to weary you. I know you join not in a love discourse.
Aye, Proteus, but that life is altered now. I have done penance for condemned love, whose high imperious thoughts punished me with nightly tears and daily hostile sighs. For in revenge of my contempt of love, love hath chased sleep from my enthralled eyes and made them watchers of my own heart's sorrow. O gentle Proteus, love's a mighty lord, now I can break my fast, dine, sup, and sleep upon the very naked name of love.
Enough. I read your fortune in your eye. Was this the idol that you worship so?
Even she, and is she not a heavenly saint?
No. But she is an earthly paragon.
Call her divine.
I will not flatter her.
Oh, flatter me for love delights and praises.
When I was sick, you gave me bitter pills, and I must minister the likes to you.
Then speak the truth by her, if not divine, Yet let her be a principality, serene to all the creatures on the earth.
Except my mistress.
Sweet, except not any, except thou wilt accept against my love.
Have I not reason for my own?
Pardon me, Proteus, all I can is nothing. To her whose worth makes other worthies nothing. She is alone.
Then let her alone.
Not for this world, my man, she is mine own. And I, as rich in having such a jewel, as 20 seas in all their sound hotels, the water nectar and the rocks pure gold, forgive me that I do not dream on thee, because thou seest me dote upon my love, my foolish rival that her father likes. Only for his possessions are so huge, is gone with her along, and I must after for love, thou knowest, is full of jealousy.
But she loves you?
Aye, we are betrothed, nay, more our marriage hour. With all the cunning manner of our flight, determined how I will climb her window, the ladder made of cords, and all the means plotted and agreed on for my happiness. Good Proteus, go with me to my chamber, in these affairs to aid me with thy counsel.
Go on before. I'll presently attend you.
Will you make haste?
I will. Even as one heat another heat expels, as one nail by strength drives out another, so the remembrance of my former love is by a newer object quite forgotten. Is it mine eye, or Valentine's praise, her true perfection, or my false transgression that makes me reasonless to reason thus? She is fair, and so is Julia, that I love, that I did love. Or now my love is thawed, which like a waxen image against the fire bears no impression of the thing it was. Methinks my love to Valentine is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont. Oh, but I love his lady too much, and that's the reason I love him so little. How shall I dote on her with more advice that thus without advice begin to love her? If I can check my erring love, I will. If not, to compass her, I'll use my skill.
Lads, by mine honesty, welcome to Padua.
Forswear not thyself, sweet youth, for I am not welcome. I reckon this always, that a man is never undone till he be hanged, nor never welcome to a place till some certain shot be made, and the hostess say, welcome.
Come on, you madcap, or to the alehouse with you presently, where for one shot at 5 pence, thou shalt have 5,000 welcomes. But, Sirrah, how did thy master part with Madame Sylvia?
Married, after they close in earnest, they parted very fairly in jest.
But shall she marry him?
No,
How then shall he marry her?
no, neither.
What, are they broken?
No, they are as both as whole as a fish.
Why then, how stands the matter with them?
Marriages, when it stands well with him, it stands well with her.
What an arse thou! I understand thee not.
What a block out thou, that can't stop. My staff understands me.
What thou sayest?
I am what I do too. Look me, but I lead, and my staff understands me.
Stands under thee, indeed. But tell me true, wilt be a match?
Ask my dog. If he say aye, it will. If he say no, it will. If he shake his tail and say nothing, it will.
The conclusion is then that it will.
Thou shalt never get such a secret from me by a power.
'Tis well that I give it so. But, lads, how sayest thou that my master has become a notable lover?
I never knew him otherwise.
Then how?
A notable lover, as thou reportest it.
Why, thou horse on ass, thou mistakest me.
Why, fool, I meant not thee, I meant my master.
Tell me my master has become a hot lover.
Why, I tell thee, I care not, though he burn himself in love. Thou wilt go with me to the alehouse. Wilt thou go?
At thy service.
To leave my Julia, shall I be forsworn? To love fair Sylvia, shall I be forsworn? To wrong my friend, I shall be much forsworn. Love bade me swear, and love bids me forswear. Oh, sweet, suggesting love, if thou hast sinned, teach me, thy tempted subject, to excuse it. I cannot leave to love, and yet I do. Julia, I lose, and Valentine, I lose. If I keep them, I needs must lose myself. If I lose them, thus find I by their loss. For Valentine, myself. For Julia, Sylvia. I to myself am dearer a friend, for love is still most precious in itself. I will forget that Julia is alive. Remembering that my love to her is dead, and Valentine I'll hold an enemy, aiming at Sylvia as a sweeter friend. I cannot now prove constant to myself without some treachery used to Valentine. This night, he means unto the corded ladder to climb celestial Sylvia's chamber window. Myself in counsel his competitor. Now presently, I'll give her farther notice of their disguising and pretended flight. Who, all enraged, will banish Valentine, for Furio he intends shall wed his daughter. But Valentine being gone, I'll quickly cross by some sly trick, blunt dull Furio's proceedings. Love, lend me wings to make my purpose swift, as thou hast lent me wit to plot this trick.
Counsel Lucetta, gentle girl, assist me. And evening-tide love I conjure thee to lesson me, and tell me some good meaning. How with my honour shall I undertake a journey to my loving Proteus?
Alas, the way is wearisome and long.
A true devoted pilgrim is not weary to measure kingdoms with feeble steps. Much less shall she that hath love's wings to fly. And when the flight is made to one so dear, such divine perfection as Sir Proteus.
There she will bear till Proteus makes return.
Oh, knowest thou not his looks are my sole food? Pity the dirt that I have pined in, by longing for thy food so long a time. Didst thou but know the inly touch of love, thou wouldst as soon go kindle fire with snow, as to seek to quench the fire of love with earth.
I do not seek to quench your love's hot fire, but qualify it with fire's extreme rage, lest it should burn above the bounds of reason.
The more thou dance it up, the more it burns. The current with its gentle murmur glides. Knowst thou being skulking patiently doth rage. For when his fair course are not hindered, he makes sweet music with enameled stones. And so by many mocking nooks he strays, with willing sport of wild ocean, and let me go and hinder not my course.
But in what habit will you draw longing?
Not like a woman, far will prevent the loose encounters of lascivious men. Gentle Lucetta, fit me with such weeds that may beseem a well-reputed page.
What fashion, then, shall I make your breeches?
Even what fashion thou best likes, Lucetta.
You must needs have them with a codpiece.
Out, Lucetta, thou will be ill-favoured.
Around the coast, madam, now's not worth a pin unless you have a codpiece to stick pins on.
Lucetta, as thou lovest me, let me have what thou think is meet and most manly. But tell me, wench, how will the world repute me for undertaking so instead a journey? I fear it may be scandalized.
If you think so, then stay at home and go not.
Nay, I will not.
Then never dream on infamy, but go. If Proteus of your journey is to come, no matter who's displeased when you are gone, I fear me you will be scarce to be pleased with all.
That is the least of my fear. 1,000 oaths, an ocean of his tears, and instances of infinite love warrant me to welcome my Proteus.
All these are servants to deceitful men.
Base men, that use them so base effect. The truest stars that govern Proteus' birth, his words are bonds, his oaths are oracles, his heart is far from fraud as heaven from earth.
Pray heaven he proves so when you contend.
Now, as thou lovest me, do him not thy wrong, to bear him a hard opinion of his truth. Only deserve my love by loving him. And presently go with me to my chamber, to take note of what I stand in need of to furnish me upon this long journey. All that is mine, I leave at thy disposal, my goods, my land, my reputation. Only in lieu thereof, dispatch me hence. Come, answer me not, but to it presently I declare with patience of my tarrying.
Now tell me, Proteus, what's your will with me?
My gracious lord, friendship bids me to conceal. No, worthy prince, Sir Valentine, my friend, this night intends to steal away your daughter. Myself am one made principal. I know you have determined to bestow her on Thurio, whom your gentle daughter hates. And should she thus be stolen away from you, it would be much vexation to your age. Thus, for my duty's sake, I rather chose to cross my friend in his intended drift than, by concealing it, heap on your head a happy sorrows, which would press you down, being unprevented to your timeless grave.
Proteus, I thank thee for thine honest care, which to requite, command me while I live. This love of theirs myself have often seen, happy when they have judged me fast asleep, and oftentimes have purposed to forbid Sir Valentine her company and my court. But fearing lest my jealousy might err, and so unworthily disgrace the man, I gave him gentleness, thereby to find that which thyself hath now disclosed to me. Unknightly lodger in an upper tower, the key whereof myself have ever kept, and that she cannot be conveyed away.
No, noble lord, they have devised a mean how he, her chamber window, will ascend, and with a corded ladder, fetch her down, for which the youthful lover now is born, and this way comes he with it presently, where, if it please you, you may intercept him. But, good my lord, do it so cunningly that my discovery need not aim at that. For love of you, not hate unto my friend, have made me publisher of this pretense.
Upon my honor, he shall never know that I had any light from thee.
Adieu, my lord. Sir Valentine's coming.
Oh, Sir Valentine! Whither away so fast?
Please, your grace, there is a messenger that stays to bear my letters to my friends.
And be they of much importance?
The tenor of them doth signify my health and hand being here at your court.
Oh, right then, no matter. Stay with me a while. I am to break with thee of some affairs that touch me near, wherein thou must be secret. 'Tis not unknown to thee that I have thought to match my friend Sir Thurio to my daughter.
I know it well, my lord, and sure the match were rich and honourable. And besides, the gentleman is full of virtue, bounty, worth, and qualities for stealing such a wife as your fair daughter. Cannot your grace win her to fancy him?
No, trust me. She is peevish, sullen, proud, and may I say to thee, this pride of hers upon advice hath drawn my love from her, where I thought the remnant of my age should have been cherished by her childlike beauty. I now am full resolved to take a wife and turn her out. To who will take her in? Then let her beauty be her wedding dower. For me and my possessions she esteems not.
What would your grace have me do in this?
Well, there is a lady in Verona here, whom I affect, but she is nice and coy, and not esteems my aged eloquence, and therefore would I have thee to my tutor. For long and long I have forgot, of course, how and which way I may bestow myself to be regarded in her sun-bright eye.
Win her with gifts if she respects not words. Dumb jewels often in their silent kind. More than quick words do move a woman's mind.
Oh, but she did scorn a present that I sent her.
Send her another, never give her over. For scorn at first makes after love the more. If she do frown, 'tis not in hate, rather to beget more love in you. If she do try, 'tis not to have you gone, for why the fools are mad if left alone. That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man if with his tongue he cannot win a woman.
But she, I mean, is promised by her friends unto a youthful gentleman of worth, and kept severely from resort of men, and no man hath access by day to her.
Why then I resort to her by night?
Oh! But the doors be locked, and the keys kept safe, that no man may recourse to her by night.
One lets but one may enter at her window.
Oh, well, her chamber is a loft. Yes, far from the ground, and built so shelving that one cannot climb it without apparent hazard of his life.
Why, then, a ladder quaintly made of cords to cast off with a pair of anchoring hooks. It served to spell another hero's tower, so boldly and adventurous.
Now, as thou art a gentleman of blood, advise me where I may have such a ladder.
When would you need it?
Of this very night. For love is like a child that longs for everything that he can come by.
By 7 o'clock I'll get you such a ladder.
But hark thee, I will go to her alone. How shall I best convey the ladder?
It will be like, my lord, that you may bear it and reflect that it is of any man.
A cloak as long as thine will serve the turn.
Aye, my good lord.
Then let me see thy cloak. I'll get the use of one such another then.
Why, any cloak will serve then the turn, my lord.
How shall I fashion thee to wear a cloak? I pray thee, let me feel thy cloak upon me. What letter is this saying? What's here? To Sylvia. And here, cords, an engine fit for my proceeding. I'll be so bold to break the seal for once. My thoughts do harbour with my Sylvia nightly, and slaves they are to me that send them fly. Oh, could their master come and go as lightly, himself would lodge where senseless they are lie. My herald thoughts in thy pure bosom rest them, while I, their king, that thither them importune, do curse the grace that with such grace hath blessed them, because myself do want my servants' fortune. I curse myself, for they are sent by me, that they should harbour where their Lord should be. What's here? Sylvia, this night I will enfranchise thee. So, hear the loud purpose. Go, base intruder, overweening slave, bestow thy fawning smiles on equal mates. If thou linger in my territories longer than swiftest expedition will give thee time to leave our royal court, by heaven, my wrath shall far exceed the love I ever bore my daughter or thyself. Begone! I will not hear thy vain excuse. When a sound loves life, make speed from hence.
And why not death rather than living torment? To die is to be banished from myself, and Sylvia is myself. Banished from her is self from self, a deadly banishment. What light is light if Sylvia be not seen? What joy is joy if Sylvia be not by? Except I be by Sylvia in the night, there is no music in the nightingale. Unless I look on Sylvia in the day, there is no day for me to look upon. I fly, not death, to fly his deadly doom. Tarry I here, I but attend on death, but fly I hence. I fly away from life.
Run, boy. Run.
Super!
Seek him out. What seest thou?
Him we're going to find. What's a hair in his head? But 'tis a Valentine.
Valentine?
No,
Hey then. This spirit.
neither,
What then?
nothing.
Can nothing speak? Master, shall I strike?
Who wouldst thou strike?
Nothing.
Friend, did Valentine a word?
My ears are stopped, I cannot hear good news. So much of battery has possessed them.
Then in dumb silence will I bury mine, and they are harsh and untunable and bad.
Is Sylvia dead?
No, Valentine.
No Valentine indeed, sacred Sylvia. Has she forsworn me?
No, Valentine.
No Valentine, if Sylvia had forsworn me. What is your news?
Sir, there's a proclamation that you are banished.
That thou art banished. Oh, that's the news. From hence, from Sylvia, and from me, thy friend.
Oh, I'm fed up on this war already, and now excess of it will make me suspect. Does Sylvia know that I am dead?
Aye, and she hath offered to the Doom a sea of melting pearl, which some is. Those at her father's church feet she tended, but now the bended knees, pure hands held up, sad sighs, deep groans, nor silver shedding tears could penetrate her uncompassionate side.
No more, unless the next words that thou speakest have some malignant power upon my life. If so, I pray thee breathe it in my ear, as ending anthem of my endless delight.
Cease to lament that which thou canst not help, and study help that which thou lamentest. Time is the nurse and breeder of all good. Here, if thou stay, thou canst not see thy life. Besides, thy staying will abridge thy life. Thy letters may be here, though thou art hence, which being written to me, shall be delivered even in the milk-white bosom of thy love. Come, I'll convey thee through the city gate, near I part with thee, and confer at large all that may concern thy love affairs.
I pray thee, Lance, and if thou seest my servant, bid them make haste to meet me at the north gate.
Go, Sirrah, find him out. Come, Valentine.
My dear,
I have but found
Cytherea, fear not, but that she will love you. Now Valentine is banished from her sight.
Since his exile, she hath despised me most, forsworn my company, and railed at me, that I am desperate of obtaining.
Well, this sweet impress of love is as a figure trenchant in ice, which with an hour's heat dissolves to water and doth lose his form. A little time will melt her frozen thoughts, and worthless Valentine shall be forgot. Come now, Sir Proteus, is your countryman, according to our proclamation, gone?
Gone, my good lord.
My daughter takes his going grievously.
A little time, my lord, will kill that grief.
If so I believe, but Thurio thinks not. Proteus, the good conceit I hold of thee, for thou hast shown some sign of good desert, makes me the better to confer.
Longer than I prove loyal to your grace, let me not live to look upon your grace.
Thou knowest how willingly I would effect the match between Cytherea and my daughter.
I do, my lord.
And also I think thou art not ignorant how she opposes against her will.
Well, she did, my lord, when Valentine was here.
I am perversely she persevers so. What might we do to make the girl forget the love of Valentine and love Cytherea?
The best way is to slander Valentine with falsehood, cowardice, and false dissent. Three things that women highly hold in hate.
But you think that it is spoken in?
Aye, it is enemy deliberate. Therefore, it must with circumstance be spoken by one whom she esteemeth as her friend.
Then you must undertake to slander him.
Aye, that, my lord, I shall be loath to do. It is an ill offence for a gentleman, especially against his very friend.
Oh, well, when your good word cannot advantage him, your slander can never damage him. Therefore, the offence is indifferent, being entreated to it by your friend.
You have prevailed, my lord. She shall not long continue to love him, but say this weed her love from Valentine. It follows not that she will love Cytherea.
Therefore, as you unwind your love from him, you must provide to bottom it on me, which must be done by praising me as much as you is worth dispraise Sir Valentine.
And Proteus, we can trust you this time, because we know on Valentine's report you are already love's firm votary, and cannot soon revolt and change your mind. Upon this forest shall you have access, where you with Sylvia may confer at large, where you may temper her by your persuasion my friend.
As much as I can do, I will effect. But you, Cytherea, are not sharp enough. You must lay line to tangle her desires by wailful sonnets whose composed rhymes should be full fraught with serviceable vows.
And I advise this matter for practice. Therefore, sweet courteous, my direction giver, let us into the city presently to sort some gentlemen well skilled in music. I have a sonnet that will serve the turn to give the onset of thy good advice.
About it, gentlemen!
We'll wait upon your grace till after supper, and afterwards determine our proceedings.
Fellows, stand fast. See a passenger.
If there be ten, shrink not, but down with them.
Stand, sir, and throw us that you have about you. If not, we'll make you sit and write.
Sir, we are undone. These are the villains that all travellers do fear so much.
My friend, that is not so, sir. We are your enemies.
Peace, look here.
Aye, by my beard will we, for he is a proper man.
Then know that I have been well to a man I am, cussed with adversity. My riches are these poor buildings, of which, if you should here to furnish me, you take the sum and substance that I have.
Did it trouble you?
To Verona.
Whence came you?
Verona.
Have you long sojourned there?
Some 16 months and longer, my dear state, if crooked fortune had not forced me.
What? Were you banished then?
I was.
For what offense?
For that which now torments me to write her. I killed a man, whose death I must repent, but yet I slew him manfully without false vantage or base treachery.
Why ne'er repented if it were done so? But were you banished so small a fault?
I was, and hope be glad of such a doom.
Have you the tongues?
My youth and travel therein made me happy, or else I often am miserable.
By the bare scalp of Robin Hood's fat friar, this fellow were a king of our wild faction.
We'll have it. Serves the word.
Master, be one of them. It's an honourable kind of thievery.
Still,
Tell us this. Have you anything to take to?
nothing but my fortune.
Know then that some of us are gentlemen, such as the fear of Wonderfoot, thrust from the company of awful men. Myself is from Verona banished for practicing to steal away a lady, an heir and near ally of the Duke.
And I from Mantua, for a gentleman who, in my mood, I slapped under the heart.
And I for such like petty crimes as these. But to the purpose. For we cite our cause that they may hold accused our lawless lives, and partly seen are beautified with goodly shape, and by your own report a linguist, and a man of such perfection as we do in our own quality much wrong.
Indeed, because you are a banished man. Therefore, above the rest, we parley to you. Are you content to be our general?
What sayest thou? Wilt thou be our consort? Say I be captain of the soul.
But if thou stalk our courtesy, thou diest.
Thou shalt not brag. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not live to brag or be an offer.
I take your offer and will live with you, provided that you do not have wages on 3 women or 4 passengers.
No, we detest such vile, base practices. Come, go with us. We'll bring thee to our cruise and show thee off all the treasures we've got, which with ourselves, all the rest that
Already have I been false to Valentine, and now I must be as unjust to Thurio. Under the colour of commending him, I have access mine own love to prefer. But Sylvia is too fair, too true, too holy to be corrupted by my worthless gifts. When I protest true loyalty to her, she twits me with falsehood to my friend. When to her beauty I commend my vows, she bids me think of how I have been forsworn in breaking faith with Julia, whom I loved, and notwithstanding of her sudden quips, the least whereof would quell a learner's mother's hope. Yet, spaniel-like, the more she spurns my love, the more it grows and fawneth on her still. But here comes Thurio.
How now, Sir Pervious? Are you crept before us?
Aye, gentle Thurio, for you know that love will creep in service wherever I go.
Aye, but I hope, sir, that you will not come here.
Sir, but I do. Or else I could be hence. Aye, Sylvia. For your sake.
And thank you for your...
Tell me, young guest, methinks you're alkali. I pray you, why is it?
Marry my host because I can't be married.
Come on, we'll have you married. I'll bring you where you shall hear music and see that gentleman you asked for.
But shall I hear him speak?
Aye, that you shall.
That will be amusing.
Hark, hark.
Is he among these?
Aye, but peace, let's hear it.
This piece is entitled Sylvia. Who is Sylvia? What is she that all our swains commend her? Holy, fair, and wise is she. The heavens such grace did lend her that she might admire be. Is she as kind as she is fair? For beauty lives with kindness. Love doth to her eyes repair to help him of his blindness, and being helped inhabits her. Then Sylvia, let us sing, that Sylvia is excelling. She excels each mortal thing upon the dull earth dwelling. To her, let us garlands bring.
How now? Are you sadder than you were before? How do you, man? The music likes you not?
You mistake. The musician likes me not.
Why, my pretty youth?
He plays false far.
How? Out of tune on the strings?
Not so, but yet false and he grieves my very heartstrings.
I perceive you delight not in music.
Not a whit when it jars so.
Ah, what fine changes in the music.
Aye, that changes the spite.
You would have them always play but one thing?
I would always have one play with one thing. But host, don't this Proteus that we talk on often resort to this gentleman?
I'll tell you what Lance, his man, told me. He loved her out of all Nick.
Where is love?
Gone to seek his dog, which tomorrow, by his master's command, he must carry for a present to his lady.
Peace. Stand aside. The company parts.
Sir Furio, be not you. I will so plead that you shall say my cunning trick excels.
Where meet we?
At St. Gregory's Well.
Farewell!
Ah, madam! Good evening to your ladyship.
Thank you for your music, gentlemen. Who is it that's fake?
One lady, if you knew his pure heart's truth, you would quickly learn to know him by his voice.
Sir Proteus, I take it.
Sir Proteus, gentle lady, and your servant,
What's your will?
that I may compass yours.
You have your wish.
Yes.
My will is even this. The presently you hie you home to bed.
Ah.
Oh, thou subtle, perjured, false, disloyal man, thinkest thou that I am so shallow, so conceivless to be seduced by thy flattery? That hast deceived so many with thy vows. Return, and make thy love amends. I am so far from granting thy request that I despise thee for thy wrongful suit, and by my intent to chide myself even for this time I spend in talking to thee.
I grant, sweet love, that I did love a lady, but she is dead.
Twere false if I should ever speak it. For I am sure she is not burnt.
Say that she be, yet Valentine thy friend survives, to whom thyself art witness I betroth.
I likewise hear that Valentine is dead.
And so suppose am I. For in his grave assure thyself, my love is buried.
Sweet lady, let me rake it from the earth.
Go to thy lady's grave and call hers thence. For at the least in hers sepulchre thine.
He hath not that.
Madam, if your heart be so obdurate, vouchsafe me yet your picture for my love. The picture that is hanging in your chamber. To that I'll speak, to that I'll sigh and weep. For since the substance of your perfect self is else than both I am but a shadow, and to your shadow will I make true love.
If it were a substance, you would sure deceive it, and make it but shadow as I am.
I'm very loath to be your idol, sir. But since your falsehood shall become you well to worship shadows and adore false shapes, send to me in the morning and I'll send it. And so good rest.
As wretches have o'ernight that wait for execution in the morn.
Pray you, where lies Sir Proteus?
Marry, he's in my house. Trust me, I think 'tis almost day.
Not so, but it hath been the longest night that I ever watched, and the most heaviest.
This is the hour that Madame Sylvia entreated me to call and know her mind. There's some great matter she employed me in. Madam! Madam!
Who calls?
Your servant, your friend, one that obtains your ladyship's command.
Say no more. 1,000 times good morrow.
As a very worthy lady to yourself, according to your ladyship's impose, I am thus early to come to know what service it is your pleasure to command me in.
Oh, Evermore, thou art a gentleman. Thou art not ignorant what dear goodwill I bear unto the banished Valentine, nor how my father would have forced me marry vain Thurio, whom my very soul abhorred. So Evermore, I would to Valentine, to Mantua, where he makes his abode. And for the ways are dangerous to pass, I do desire thee to bear me company and go with me. If not, to hide what I have said to thee, that I may venture to depart alone.
Madam, I pity much your grievances, which, since I know they are virtuously placed, I give consent to go along with you, recking as little what betide me, as much I wish all good fortune. When will you go?
This evening, coming.
Where shall I meet you?
At Brian Patrick's cell, where I intend to hold holy confession.
I will not fail your lordship. Good morrow, gentle lady.
Good morrow, kind sir.
When a man's servant shall play the cur with him, look you, it goes hard. One that I brought up for public, one that I saved from drowning when 3 or 4 of his blind brothers and sisters went to it. I have taught him even as one would say precisely thus I would teach a dog. I was sent to the living room as a present to Mistress Sylvia from my master, and I came no sooner into the dining chamber, but he steps me to her trencher and steals her capon's leg. If I had not had more wit than he to take a fault upon me than he did, I think verily he had been hateful. You shall judge. He thrust me himself into company of 3 or 4 gentleman-like dogs under the Duke's table. He had not been there, less than Mark. A pissing wild rat, all the chamber smelt him. Out with the dog, said one. What care is that? And says another, whip him out, says the third. Hang him up, says the Duke. I, having been acquainted with the smell before, knew it was crab, and goes me to the fellow that whips the dog's friend. 'Twas I did the thing you wot of. He makes me no more ado, but whips me out of the chamber. How many masters would do this for his servant? Nay, I'll be sworn I have sat in the stocks for pulleys he hath stolen, otherwise have been executed. Thou thinkest not so. Nay, I remember the trick you served me when I took my leave of Madame Sylvia. Did not I bid thee still mark me and do as I do? When didst thou see me heave up my leg and make water against a gentlewoman's farthingale? Didst thou ever see such a trick?
Ah, Sebastian's thy name. I like thee well, and will employ thee in some service presently.
In what you please, how do I like it?
I hope thou wilt. Ah, how now, you horse and peasant? Where have you been these 2 days or 3?
your courage thinks is good enough for such a present.
But she received my love.
No, indeed, did she not? Here have I brought it back again.
What, didst thou offer her this from me?
I, sir. The other squirrel was stolen from me by the hackney's voice in the marketplace, and then I offered her my own. For it is a dog as big as 10 of yours, and therefore the gift the greater.
Go, get thee hence and find my dog again, or never return again into my sight. Oh, slay, but still an end turns me to shame. Sebastian, I have entertained thee partly that I have need of such a youth, that can with some discretion do my business, but 'tis no trusting to yond foolish lout. Therefore, know thou, for this I entertain thee. Go presently, and take this ring with thee. Deliver it to Madam Sylvia. She loved me well, delivered it to me.
Seems you loved her not, to leave her trophy. Is she dead, Goliath?
Not so. I think she lives.
Alas!
Why dost thou cry, alas?
I cannot choose but pity her.
Wherefore shouldst thou pity her?
Because methinks that she loved you well. As you do love him, Sylvia, she dreams of him that has but her love. You dote on her that cares not for your love. His sweet love should be so contrary, and thinking on it makes me cry. Alas.
Well, give her that ring, and therewithal this letter. That's the chamber. Oh, that's the chamber. I'll tell my lady I claim the promise for her heavenly picture.
How many women would do such a message? Alas, for Proteus that hast entertained. Fox to be the shepherd of thy lambs. Alas, poor fool, why do I pity him? That with his very heart despiseth me. Because he loves her, he despiseth me. Because I love him, I must pity him. This ring I gave him when he parted from me, to bind him to remember my goodwill. And now am I unhappy messenger, to plead for which that I have not obtained, to praise his faith that I will give praise, yet will I woo for him, yet so coldly, as heaven knows it, I would not have him speak. Gentlewoman, good day. I pray you be my name to bring me where to speak with neither Sylvia.
What would you with her, that I be she?
If you be she, I do entreat your patience to hear me speak a message I have sent on.
From whom?
From my master, Sir Proteus.
Oh, he sends you for a picture.
Aye, madam.
Go, give your master this, tell him from me, one Julia, that his changing thoughts forget, would benefit his chamber than his shadow.
Madam, he sends your ladyship this ring.
More shame for him that he sends it me, for I have heard him say 1,000 times, his Julia gave it him at his departure. Though his false finger hath profaned the ring, mine shall not do his Julia so much wrong.
She thanks thee.
What says that?
I thank you, madam, that you tender her, good gentlewoman, my master does her wrong.
Dost thou know her?
Almost as well as I know myself. To think upon her words, I do protest that I have wept 100 several times.
Belike she thinks that Proteus hath forsook her.
Then she don't, and that is the cause of the sorrow.
She is beholding to thee, gentle youth. Alas, poor lady, desolate and left. I weep myself to think upon thy words. Here, youth. There is my purse. I give thee this for thy sweet mistress's sake, because thou lovest her. Farewell.
She shall thank you for it, if you ever would know her. Virtuous gentlewoman, mild, beautiful. I hope my master's suit will be but cold, since she respects my mistress's love so much. Alas, how love can travel with itself. Here is a picture. Let me see. I think if I had such attire, this face of mine were so full as lovely as this of hers. Oh, what should it be that respects in her, but I can make respect in myself? If this fond love were not so blinded God, oh thou selfless form, thou shalt be worshipped, kissed, loved, and adored. And where there is sense in his idolatry, my substance should be statued in my stead. My substance should be statued in my stead. I'll use thee kindly for my mistress' sake. That use me so, or else by Jove I vow, I should have scratched out that your unseeing eyes, to make my master out of love.
The sun begins to fill the western sky, and now it is about the very hour that Sylvia, Friar Patrick's self, should meet me. She will not then, for love's break not pass, unless it took me to come before their time, and so much they spur their expedition. See where she comes, Lady Happy Evening.
Go on, good Ecclemore. Out at the postern by the Vatican wall, I fear I'm attended by some spies.
Fear not. The forest is not 3 leagues off. If we were covered up, we are sure.
Sir Furnius, what's that so written by sir?
Oh, sir, I find her milder than she was. And yet, she takes exception to your person.
What, that my leg is too long?
No, that is too little.
I'll wear boots to make it somewhat rounder. What says she's like this?
She says it's a fair one.
How likes she my discourse?
Ill when you talk of war.
But well in my discourse of love and peace. What says she to my love?
Oh, sir, she makes no doubt of that.
What says she to my love?
That you are well derived.
Considers she my position?
Oh, aye, and pities them.
Wherefore?
That they are out by lease.
How now, Sir Perseus? How now, Dario? Which of you saw Eglamour of late?
Not I.
All right.
So you my daughter?
Neither.
Why then she's fled unto that peasant Palatine, and Eglamour is in the company. Therefore, I pray you, stand not to discourse, but mount you presently and meet with me upon the rising of the mountain foot that leads to Albantua, whither they are fled. Dispatch, sweet gentlemen, and follow me.
Why, this is to be a peevish girl that flies her fortune when it follows her. All out won't be revenged on Israel, and for love of reckless Sylvia.
And I will follow, more for Sylvia's love than hate of Eglamour that goes with her.
And I will follow, more to cross that love than hate for Sylvia, which that is gone for love.
Come, be patient. We must bring you to our captain.
1,000 times, 1,000 longest chances than this one have learned me how to draw patiently.
Come, bring her away.
Where is the gentleman that was with her?
He hath run us. Moses and Iris follow him. Go thou with her to the westward. There is our captain who will follow him that's fled. The thick is his beset. He cannot escape.
Come, I must bring you to our captain's cave. Fear not. He bears an honorable ride, and will not use a woman flawlessly.
Oh, Valentine, is that a joke for me?
How youth does breed a habit in a man, this shadowy desert, unfrequented woods, advent of books and flourishing people's towns. Here can I sit alone, unseen of any, and to the nightingale's complaining notes, tune my distresses and record my woes. Repair me with thy presence, Sylvia, thou gentle nymph, cherish thy forlorn swain. What harrowing and what stir is this today? These are my mates that make their wills their law, have some unhappy passenger in chase. They love me well, yet I have much to do, to keep them from uncivil outrages. Withdraw thee, Valentine. Who's this comes here?
Madam, this service I have done for you, though you respect not what your servant does, hazard life and rescue you from him that would have forced your honour and your love. But save me for my need but one fair look. A smaller boon than this I cannot beg, and less than this I'm sure you cannot give.
How like a dream is this I see in here. Love, lend me patience to forbear a while.
Oh, miserable, unhappy that I am.
Unhappy were you, madam, ere I came, but by my coming, I have made you happy.
By thou approach, thou makest me most unhappy.
And me on the approach of your presence.
Had I been seized by a hungry lion, I would have been a breakfast to the beast rather than have false Proteus rescue me. Oh heaven, be judge for how much I love Valentine, whose life's as tender to me as my soul, and full as much for more there cannot be, I do detest perjured Proteus. Therefore be gone, solicit me no more.
What dangerous action stood it next to death would I not undergo for one calm look? But 'tis the curse in love and still approved when women cannot love where they're beloved.
When Proteus cannot love where he's beloved, read over Julia's heart, thy first best love. And for whose sake thou didst then rend thy faith into 1,000 oaths, and all those oaths descended into perjury to love me. Thou hast no faith left now, unless thou wouldst too, and that's far worse than none. Better have none than plural faith, which is too much by one. Thou counterfeit to thy true friend.
In love, who respects friend?
All men but Proteus.
Nay, if the spirit of moving words in no way change you to a milder form, I'll woo you like a soldier, at arm's end, and love you against the nature of love. Force you.
Oh, heaven.
Ruffian, let go that rude uncivil touch.
Valentine!
Thou friend of an ill fashion. Thou common friend that's without faith or love, for such a friend is now. Treacherous man, now I dare not say. Who should be trusted when one's right hand is perjured to the bosom? Proteus, I am sorry I never trust thee more. Recount the world estranged for thy sake. Time accursed. Amongst all foes that a friend should be the worst.
My guilt and shame confound me. Forgive me, Valentine. If hearty sorrow be a sufficient ransom for offence, I tender it here. I do as truly suffer as e'er I did commit.
Then I am paid. And once again I do receive the honours, who by representatives is not satisfied. Is Lord of heaven nor earth, for these are appeased, thy penitence he has heard of with wrath appeased. And that my love may appear plain and free, all that was mine, Sylvia, I give to thee.
I'm me unhappy.
Oh, that's the boy.
Why, boy, why, how now? What's the matter?
Good sir, my master charged me to deliver this ring to Madame Sylvia, which, out of my neglect, was never done.
Where is that ring, boy?
Here it is.
Oh. How? Let me see. Why, this is the ring I gave to Julia.
Oh, crying you mercy, sir, how mistook. This is the ring sent to Sylvia.
But how can you benefit this ring? At my depart, I gave this unto Julia.
Oh, and Julia herself gave it to me, and Julia herself brought it hither.
Oh, how? Julia.
Behold her, that gave aid to all thy hurts, and entertained her deeply in her heart. Not now with perjury, cleft the root. O Proteus, that this habit make thee blush. Be thou ashamed that I have took upon me such immodest raiment. If shame live in disguise of love, it is the less that blot modesty finds from which to change their shapes than for men to change their minds.
'Tis true. Oh, heaven, were man but constant, he were perfect. That one error fills him with faults, makes him run through all the sins. Inconstancy falls off ere it begins. What is in Sylvia's face, but I may spy, more fresh in Julia's, with a constant eye?
Come, the hand from either. Let me be blessed to make these happy close. 'Twere pity two such friends should be foes.
Bear witness, heaven, I have my wish forever.
And I mine. A prize, a prize, a prize!
give back or else embrace thy death. Come not within the measure of my wrath, I dare thee but to breathe upon my love.
Sir Valentine, I cannot for her. I hold him but a fool that will endanger his body for a girl that loves him not.
The more degenerate and base art thou to make such means for her as thou hast done, and leave her on such slight conditions. Now, by the honour of my ancestry, I do applaud thy spirit, Valentine, and think thee worthy of an empress' love. Know then I here forget all former griefs, cancel all grudge, and repeal thee home again.
I thank you, your grace. The gift hath made me happy. I now beseech you for your daughter's sake, to grant one boon that I shall ask you.
I grant it for thine own, whate'er it be.
These banished men that I have kept withal are men endued with worthy qualities. Forgive them what they have committed here, and let them be recalled from their exile. They are reformed, civil, full of good, and fit for great employment, worthy Lord.
Thou hast prevailed, I pardon them and thee. Come, let us go. We will include all jars with triumphs, mirth, and rare solemnity.
And as we walk along, I dare be forward with our discourse to make your grace to smile. What think you of this page, my lord?
I think the boy has grace in him. He blushes.
I warrant you, my lord, more grace than boy.
What mean you by that saying?
Please you, I'll tell you as we pass along, that you will wonder what a fortune. Come, Bridges, 'tis your penance but to hear the story of your love's discovery, that on our day of marriage shall be yours. One feast, one house, one mutual happiness.